Welcome to A Styled Life, the podcast for purpose-led female founders and senior leaders ready to use style as a powerful tool for confidence, impact, and influence. I'm your host, Alex Standley, multi-award-winning personal stylist, speaker, and sustainable fashion consultant with 2 decades of experience in the fast-paced world of fashion. Join me as we redefine success from the inside out. This podcast isn't just about clothes. It's about personal power, purposeful style, and creating a life that aligns with your values. So whether you're running a business, leading a movement, or stepping into your next chapter, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into the world of personal style, sustainability, female empowerment, and living with intention through real stories, expert insights, and plenty of inspiration. Welcome back to A Styled Life. This week, I'm joined by Feilden, who is the founder of the She Collective. Ro is a level 4 PT and mindset coach who helps women in midlife find a way of looking after their health that actually fits their life. I am so excited to have Ro on today because I am also a member of her incredible She Collective. So welcome, Ro. I'm really, really happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Can you start by telling us a little bit more about what the She Collective is and who you are and why this mission is so important to you?
Yeah, so the She Collective is sort of the umbrella brand as such, and we are an online membership, but I also run coaching courses and things, and essentially we meet midlife women where they are at on their journey. So that could be just needing to start out and get moving their bodies, or really understanding their bodies on a deeper level. With everything that we do is based around nervous system and hormones, and it's for midlife women, because I think that, you know, I've been in the health industry for nearly 10 years, and what I discovered is that a lot changes when you hit that sort of 35 plus, and you know, what was working before doesn't necessarily work. And so I'm really on a mission to kind of help women understand their bodies and understand their lives, and do it in a way that it works for them. I don't believe that any woman is walking in the same shoes, is living the same life. And so it's really about finding their own formula. And because when you do that, it gets to be enjoyable. So I absolutely love what I do. And it's a pleasure to have you as a part of it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think that's what drew me to you to begin with, was that your approach to everything is so tailored to women, you know, 35 plus. And it's not just like a generic workout program, but also your passion, and that comes through so strongly, and you make it fun and you make it enjoyable. And you know, midlife is hard enough as it is without, you know, having a grueling routine to follow as well. So you've built it around the 4 pillars: movement, nutrition, mindset, and nervous system.
Yeah.
Most programs don't cover all of those together in such depth. What were you seeing that made you certain that all of those 4 had to be there together?
Yeah. So, you know, we are built from a combination of theory, but mostly lived experience. So, you know, my own journey started with exercise at one of the sort of darkest times in my life. I was in my 20s, and my son had been diagnosed with something called spinal muscular atrophy. He had a very short life expectancy. I was single parenting, and I just really didn't have anything for myself. And I went, if I'm honest, I started going to a boot camp because I thought, oh, if I lose some weight, I'll feel better. And then I can, I don't know, feel better. And actually what happened was so unexpected. It was such an emotional response to exercise. I would quite literally sit in the car and just bawl. It was like I was becoming unstuck, having numbed myself for a really long time. And then, I was stuck in that noughties, 90s mindset of thinking Diet Coke is a health drink and Snacker Jacks are a great nutritious snack. And I just realized that I was kind of driving with the brakes on. So I got more interested in the way that I was fueling my body. And I noticed that actually I made this connection between when I was fueling myself properly, I could give more to those workouts, and I was getting so much from those workouts.
Mm.
And then, and then eventually years later, I trained to be a PT because after having my third son, then actually I really suffered with postnatal depression, and exercise again helped me make that shift. And that time around, I was like, oh my God, right, this is it.
Mm.
I need people to know that it can do this for you, because as somebody
Mm.
who hid in the locker rooms at school avoiding PE, I'm not naturally, I just hated exercise. I thought it was a bit of a conspiracy theory. But I was kind of thinking, if I can make that breakthrough, then
Mm.
I know that I can help other women make that breakthrough. So when I trained to be a PT, then I originally was helping women, and again, so many women coming in just with that singular why, and it was all about
Mm.
aesthetics and the way that they looked and things, and I thought my job was just to help them get there. And then I just kept seeing this pattern over and over again of these women who were coming in, getting started, and then life would happen, or they had these old stories that they were telling themselves, and they would go into self-sabotage, and they were
Mm.
just stuck in this stop-start cycle because they were seeing it singularly about, their worth being about what happened when they stepped on those scales.
Mm.
And more, I saw how much actually the one toxic piece in the whole picture was the weight piece. And so
Mm.
it wasn't that, actually it was a bad thing for women to have that as a health goal or anything like that. But when you went in with that approach, that was the singular goal, and
Mm.
everything was determined by what that weight, was, then it
Mm.
actually became something really, really toxic. And so
Mm.
I saw the damage that had been done to this generation of women, with all of the kind of things that we were fed in the noughties and 90s.
Mm.
I was one of them, and so I decided that I really wanted to do things differently. And so I trained as a mindset coach. And I really noticed that shift when we started to bring mindset in. So that was our third pillar. And I really noticed that women were able to kind of just shift from that sort of bad day to thinking it was now the week was gone. But
Mm.
then also the way they were talking to themselves. And that was one of the most important pieces for me. And and that was good, and we started to grow, and it was all going pretty well. But in that process of looking after everybody else's health and well-being and really feeling like we were on something, I was just in go mode all the time. I
Mm.
didn't see that as a bad thing on any level, and it was quite helpful in a way that I was always full of this adrenaline. But
Mm.
I noticed that I was starting to suffer in ways that I wasn't expecting. So I started getting a lot of neck pain.
Mm.
I couldn't switch off. Like, I would go to bed
Yeah.
and be thinking in loops, and I really noticed that I was constantly on edge, and I almost felt really uncomfortable when I wasn't. So if I was
Yeah.
like just sat still, it would be like, God, this is uncomfortable. Like, I just need
Mm.
to get up and do something. And then eventually it all kind of came to a head, and I slipped a couple of discs in my neck, and that was, well, I was told that they were the trauma discs. I had a lot of unresolved trauma from
Mm.
Alf and going to intensive care with him lots and things like that. And I actually was on bed rest, and a friend of mine, Joe, gave me a hypnotherapy session, and I
Mm.
was on oral morphine at the time, and that hypnotherapy gave me more pain relief than the
Wow.
morphine. And I was like, okay, right, there's something in this. And so I started bringing nervous system work into my practice and actually learning about it. And then it kind of, these things slip. You get, you're
Of
like,
course.
great, I was like, we've got a fourth pillar. I'm so excited. Now I need to tell everyone. So I just went full power with my business again. And then last year really hit burnout again. And I
Mm.
was like, right, that's it. This is the definition of insanity if I do not bring this work in more.
Mm.
So I started to learn about nervous system and how it can be in those micro moments of your day,
Mm.
but essentially shifting out of flight or fright into that rest and digest, and
Mm.
spending more time there if you can, and how that works for midlife women. And then we have those four pillars that all sit under that hormonal umbrella, because hormones are responsible for pretty much everything, as we know. So if we can do those 4 pillars in ways, you know, the way that we move our body, the way that we fuel our body, all of those things underneath that umbrella of hormones, like it's magic. And I'm really proud of that framework because I think it really does make such a difference. So long-winded answer, but that's why we have the core 4.
I love that though, because I think your story is incredible. And I also love that you are totally real and, you know, share your own journey. And I think, as you said right at the start, creating something from lived experience is so powerful, and it means so much more than just having, you know, a theory that somebody's got from a book or a course or whatever it is. For you to have actually lived that and experienced it and had, you know, the highs and the lows, and for something to have been created from that is what makes it so powerful, because you've actually used it on yourself and seen the results and then been able to share that to help other women as well. And that's what makes it really powerful, I think.
Well, I think that the thing is that I have thrown theories out there before and then tried them myself, you know, morning routines looking a certain way. God, I don't think I ever did what I eat in a day, but you see all these things and you see them on repeat on Instagram, and then you think you've got to follow that.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is that every single woman I've had the pleasure of, because we started with these smaller communities, and I had the pleasure of literally witnessing and seeing what is going on for every woman. You know, like this morning, one of the things I've been doing is going through the forms for the feedback on our program Rise, and every single response is so different for what is going on for that woman. So actually there is no point in trying to fit somebody else's formula. It really is about finding this toolbox and picking and choosing what works for you. Like when I do women's wellbeing evenings, I will literally say at the beginning, I say there's going to be some stuff here that you might feel that like push in your body, like that kind of, oh, I don't know if that works for me, at which point you need to put that down. Don't hold on and struggle with it. Put it down, because it means it's not for you. Like, of course it's great if we can try things, because if someone had told me 8 months ago that I would be starting my morning with no phone, journaling and going around the garden and things like that, I'd be like, yeah, you're having a laugh. Like, because I just was in this absolute cycle of, from the second that I woke up, being in go mode, checking my emails, all of that. But I did do it. And I think that you have to try something for a certain amount of time to know, because I think that is the other thing about exercise, is that I've watched so many women come through my door who are like, yeah, I just can't stick to it. It's just not my thing. I just can't exercise. And then you just get them to hold on until, you know, we refer to it as the magic 10. You can get to that 10th workout. That's when things start to click. And I think that that's the thing, is that when you give up too early, then you don't know. But if you hold on too long, then you can also stay stuck. So it's about tuning in, really.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And I think we've almost been taught the opposite in society, that, you know, we should listen to social media and external pressures and everything else, and that's what it's about. And actually we lose that connection to our own body and our own intuition and what's actually right for us.
Yeah.
And
And
I
smoke
see
and
it.
mirrors, right? I think this
Yeah.
is one of the biggest things. Is like one of the forms that I was looking at this morning, you know, she was talking about the effect of social media and about seeing these huge transformations and thinking, well, why can't I get there? And actually, it's all smoke and mirrors, because you have no idea what that person has truly been doing, whether that's actually a very healthy approach or whether there's some damage going on beneath the surface, but whether that has been their sole focus, how much support they have got. There is so much BS out there. A lot of like PTs will quite literally pay people to get those transformations so that they can use them. And so it's not to say that transformations are not possible, but it's that comparison that is really toxic. So one of the first things I just always recommend to people is manage your media. Like
Yeah.
it is just do that cull, because if you look at it and it's inspiring and you think, oh, I could
Mm.
do that, and great. If it makes you feel like shit, cull, like
Yeah.
100% all the
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely. And I think we have quite a shared ethos in terms of like
Mm,
not, well, obviously female empowerment and everything that goes with that, but also not sticking people in a box and not
mhm.
following rules.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's like it's the most disempowering thing that you can do to a woman, because as you've just said with all of those examples, like we're all so unique and we're also individual and our circumstances are different, and you've got to find what works for you. And it's the same with style as well. Like it's no
Mm,
point in you going on Instagram and looking at somebody else and thinking, oh, she looks really great, and copying what somebody else is wearing. And that person could have a completely different body shape to you, different coloring
yeah.
to you. Like it might look amazing on them, but it doesn't mean that that's who you are and what your identity is. And I think we, in the same way with style, we can get so caught up in, I need to look like this and I need to have this body image and I need to, diet to make myself fit
Mm,
into the clothes that I no longer fit in my wardrobe. And there's a lot of kind of scarcity like mindset that comes with that as well, because it's all about, making yourself smaller and making yourself fit into something rather than being the person that you are and embracing the things that are unique and individual about you as personality and identity and everything else.
I think the moment that you can embrace the fact that your body has changed, and acceptance doesn't mean giving up. I
No.
think that's the thing. It's like, I think that's the fear. It's like, if I accept that my body has changed, then I've given up. And it's like,
Mm,
no, that is not true at all. And also, like, there is this huge thing around lifting weights and confidence,
mm,
because actually, I think what I have noticed is that women can actually not have gone down a dress size, but their body confidence has improved enormously
yeah.
because they've got those signs of health, of strength,
Mm,
and they feel strong in their body. There is
yeah.
something really amazing about that. But yeah, no, you're totally right. It's just it's a bit of a it's the Wild West out there.
Oh, it totally is. I was actually having this conversation with one of my best friends after I did your podcast, because I
Mhm.
was saying to her about how it had made me reflect on a lot of the influences, and things that have happened, key things for me growing up and things like that. And I said to her, I'm like the biggest clothing size that I have been in my life, but I'm the most confident and the fittest and healthiest
Oh
and
God, I love
strongest.
that so much.
And it's like, it really doesn't mean anything. Like I used to, I think I was probably like a size 10 or something before I had my daughter. And I used to think I was fat and I used
Mhm.
to, restrict myself, carbs were like bad and,
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
foods were bad. And I didn't have like a, an eating disorder or anything like that, but I was very controlled in
Mm.
what I would and wouldn't eat. And Diet Coke was my best friend, and as
Yeah.
you said. And I look at that version of me to this version of me, and I'm so much healthier and have so much more respect for myself and my body. And, that's part of what I love about your ethos as well, is it's like, what will your 80-year-old self thank you
Oh,
for?
big time. Big time. And I think one of the things that I feel sad about is the number of women who feel that it's all downhill from like 40.
Yeah.
And I think that, the journeys that I have watched and the transformations, when we're talking about transformations, well, how about like waking up in the morning and having energy, like
Yeah.
actually wanting to say yes to things, like
Mm,
again, like respecting yourself. So wanting to fuel yourself better. When
mm,
you take that like full circle approach and it becomes so much more than just about aesthetics, it
mm.
is magical because you are actually changing yourself from the inside out. And I think that
Yeah.
that is the biggest thing, because once you can start to respect yourself, you don't make those shitty choices. And I think that's
No.
the thing. It's like, of course, I say, oh my God, I am like, when people get to see like some of my habits, they really do laugh. Like when I was on this retreat last week, they were like, God, I thought you'd be like the one like avoiding this or avoiding that or whatever. I'm like, hell no, because it's all part of the tapestry of life. And I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me, is that it's part of the puzzle. So
Mm.
I look after myself really, really well during the week, and when it feels like it's easy, and that does feel
Mm.
easy, and that allows me to then go and have that pizza and wine on a Friday night or
Mm.
whatever, and it's not self-sabotage, it's just
No.
part of the picture.
It's enjoying life.
It's just enjoying life. And I think that when you get to that space, it actually feels like being like let free. It's like an
Yeah, 100%.
amazing liberation. Like if I think
Mm.
about how long I used to spend going, okay, well on Monday I've just got to do another overhaul and another this. That's not the picture now.
Yeah.
And it's constantly changing. And I think that that is the other thing, is that we expect a health journey to just be like, you start and then it's all like up, 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 up.
Mm.
And it's not. And it's like you have these plateaus and then you have these dips and then you go, and you're back on. But when you can think about it, about again, zooming out and go, well, what do I want to feel when I'm 80? What do I want to do
Mm.
in terms of being able to get up off the floor, being able to
Mm.
like play with grandchildren, whatever it may be?
Yeah.
Where does that picture play a part? Then when
Mm.
you get to that part, then actually the week that you've gone off with, like, I don't know, family and indulged or whatever, it doesn't matter, because it's not about the fallout, it's about
No.
the return. And I think that's the thing. It's just about, then you're in a mindset where you're like, okay, that's all good, that was a great holiday, now
Yeah,
back to it.
definitely.
Yeah.
I was laughing with my husband last night because he was saying he's loved, I think, seeing the journey that I've been on with like my health and my
Mm.
body and everything else. He'll like be leaving the house in the morning to go to work, and I'm doing my workout in the living room. And he will always like take the piss and be like, "Oh, look, it's Mrs. Muscle," like, or whatever comment that he chooses to make in the morning. He was making his coffee and he like hit my stomach with his spoon, and he was like, "Oh, look, abs of steel," or something like that, and was laughing about it. And I said, well, I would probably have a six pack if I didn't enjoy like cake and chocolate and the
Yeah.
pizza and stuff like that. But it's all about the balance.
It's not worth the sacrifice.
It's
For
not.
me, I think that's the thing, is that, so you have to, there was a great reel that I saw the other day. And again, because I do really manage my media now, I do get fed quite a lot of body positivity stuff, which I think really helps.
Mm.
And she was saying, it's like Lottie someone, I can't remember her name. But anyway, she was saying like, I'd do anything. So it first started by saying, I'd do anything to have my 20-year-old body, and like showed her 20-year-old body. And then she was like, anything? Really? And then she showed all these clips of like the parts of life, because that's what it would be, right?
Mm.
That's what it would mean. It would mean
Yeah.
sacrificing the birthdays, all of those bits, all going to them and feeling stressed and stuff. Like, there is nothing better than those moments with like food and celebration and
Yeah,
just enjoying them, and not feeling like,
definitely.
okay, I've now got to use moving my body, which frankly is a blooming blessing. Like, I know
Yeah.
that so well with having a disabled child.
Mm.
Like, we're in this mindset of like, okay, now I have to exercise and it's a punishment, and it's a punishment for eating that food. And it's
Mm.
just like, when you can make that switch and just kind of, like we say, like, accept this is the body that I have, and learn to respect it and use it
Mm.
and strengthen it, then
Yeah.
it's just such a game changer for every part of your life. I think that's the thing, is the
Yeah.
ripple effect is huge.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also to say it is like a daily habit or a daily thing
Mm,
that you have to, when you have grown up with like societal conditioning and social media and everything
mm.
else, it does take time to, remove those scripts that run in the back of your head. And like I will still have times where I'll think of food as like something's good and something's bad,
Yeah,
or,
sure. Yeah.
I shouldn't have had that or whatever. But I have to like check myself
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
be in
exactly.
that
Oh my God,
habit
I
of,
do that. I do
yeah,
that all the time. It's not that it never goes, it doesn't ever go away. But if
no,
I think about what that voice was like, and it was like
yeah,
this big booming voice, and now
mm,
it's just this little one that I just go flick and flick it
yeah,
off my shoulder and go, yeah, all right, cheers, love. Not
yeah,
today, thanks.
yeah.
Today.
So I'd love to talk a little bit about style and
Mm,
getting dressed. Something that you said on your form really resonated with me about when you get dressed, it's about what gives you energy, like for that
mm,
day, whether that's color or something bold or something that just feels like you. And that's obviously something that I'm so passionate about because, dopamine dressing is such a real thing. And the more that we
yeah,
can lean into the things that we love and that we enjoy, we'll get that hit of dopamine, which is so helpful when we are having those mornings where, hormones are raging or we're
yeah.
just not feeling it. So, how much do you think the kind of physical work that your members are doing changes like how they want to show up, including how they are getting dressed as well?
Oh, yeah. I think it's an enormous link. It's one of the things that I wish we could sort of introduce earlier because I think that the moment that you can start giving yourself that little bit of, again, self-respect in the
Mm,
morning by giving yourself time to think about what you're wearing, then that ripple effect, right? It's the way
yeah.
that you show up in every single moment within your day.
Mm,
So I notice such a big difference between the days that I put on leggings knowing full well that I'm not even going to be doing a workout, or I might do or I might not, it's just for like comfort. But between like, that and the days that I actually make a conscious effort to get
mm,
dressed, like after you were on my podcast, like what was that, a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that.
yeah, something like that.
And that weekend, my husband was away and I pulled everything out of my wardrobe because it was that kind of year. It was that time of year that I was going to do a bit of a switch over anyway
Changeover.
between summer and spring. But organizing my wardrobe and just looking at what I had there. And
Mm.
I put loads up on Vinted. I made 250 quid that weekend
Wow.
on
Amazing.
Vinted, which went straight into my balance and I bought stuff back
Love
because
that.
like I said, like I try and just basically get everything secondhand.
Mm.
But it was so satisfying that next week getting dressed. It was such a
Yeah.
pleasure because I was able to see what I had and be able to match different things. And I think that when women go on that like strength journey, and again, it's
Mm.
just like that thing of your body changes and the way that you
Mm.
show up changes. And so I think that people do find that they can get a bit bolder,
Yeah.
like, and I think that that boldness of where you can show up, with a red lip or with a color
Mm.
that you love, like it's so noticeable.
Mm.
Yeah, I just think it's such an amazing expression of how you feel. And you can notice, you notice those people who maybe are not feeling that great in themselves, who are
Mm.
always hiding beneath hoodies and leggings and things like that. Like I've been there, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's huge.
100%. I think we spoke on your show about that kind of, what do you call it, like instinctive nature is if you're not feeling that great, it is to do exactly what you just said and make yourself invisible, make
Yeah, you
yourself
want to hide.
smaller. Neutrals like black especially is like safe, and it, people aren't going to notice me, people are is slimming. Like I
Yeah.
hear that, oh god, if I had a pound for every time someone said to me like
Yeah,
black.
that doesn't surprise me.
And yes, it can be, but there's so much more to bring to life within your personality, and color is so powerful for that as well. And I think it doesn't have to be again about, sticking to rules and being like, oh, you're sat within this particular season. It can just be like, these are the colors that make me feel incredible. And that is what I'm going to
Mm,
wear because I want to feel at my very best and show up at my very best. And I think that it's really powerful, that link between what you said about having that self trust build and that confidence build when you're doing strength training in yourself. And then that being reflected in the way that you're showing up and the way that you're dressing as well. Because having style, I think we think that women are like born with it if they're really stylish, and
yeah.
she's just creative and that's why she looks good, or whatever it is. But actually a lot of it actually comes down to she is just embodying who she actually is, and she has the confidence and the self-trust and the self-respect to show up in that way and fully own it, and to not care about, and not that every single day of the year that women feel like that, because there will obviously be days when you're not feeling it 100%. But when you can embody who you actually are and show up in that way, that is what looks stylish and that is what looks creative and
Yeah,
all
well,
those
it was like that that episode we were talking about, that Mel Robbins one, those 6 words that will change your life. How do I
Yeah.
want to feel today? And I do ask myself that in relation to what I'm putting on every single day now, because
Mm.
sometimes then it gives you the control to go, well, actually, I just want to feel comfy and cozy today. So,
Yeah.
I'm fine wearing this, but if I want to feel confident and whatever, then it's going to
Mm.
be something else. And I do think, yeah, that whole thing about color is huge. Like I do unintentionally find myself dressing as my brand quite a
I
lot.
love that.
I like the amount of like pink and leopard print that I wear and stuff. But like it's funny. It's like I've just got this electric bike and I've got this hilarious leopard print helmet.
Love it.
And so many people have commented on it already. And it can be a conversation starter. Like I've got
Absolutely.
like a hot pink puffer, and every time I wear it, people are like, "Oh my God, you're not gonna miss you coming, are you?" And then suddenly you're both smiling and you're starting conversation. And I think it's like it's baby steps, isn't it? Because I think for a lot
Mm.
of people, I do understand that actually, if you're coming from a place where you've been literally hiding purposefully and you are trying to like expand, it
Mm.
does it's not overnight, but
No.
it's just little bit by little bit, but it is that full picture. And actually, when you were saying about that thing of, that moment of getting dressed and that
Mm.
self-respect and stuff,
Mm.
even that relates back to your nervous system,
Yeah.
because if you are taking on different levels, because in that morning, if you are taking that moment that is like 15 minutes for yourself
Mm.
to get dressed, to maybe put on a little bit of makeup, whatever
Mm.
makes you feel comfortable in that moment, like your breathing is likely to be slower,
Mm.
you know, you're doing things with intention, as opposed to if you are leaving it till 5 minutes before the school run
Yeah.
and then grabbing something out of the cupboard and
In
then
panic.
feeling a bit like disheveled and a bit embarrassed to talk to people because you
Mm.
feel like you look at crap. Like
Mm.
it's all so interlinked. Like its style is such a big part of well-being, and that's why
Mm.
I am so glad that you're on the app, and like
Mm.
that it is such a big part of well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need, as many tools as we can in our toolbox, because life is crazy
Yeah.
and there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress, there's very little time, and it's really easy to say I don't have time to do that,
Mhm.
whether that's your style or whether that's your I don't know, nutrition, whether that's working out. It's easy to say I don't have time for that, and I actually catch myself doing that sometimes. It's like, no, I'm not making time for it. Like
Yeah.
I could make time for that, but I'm choosing not to make
Yeah,
time
exactly.
for
And
it.
I think that when you use that mindset shift of, instead of saying I don't have time, you have to say that's not my priority.
Yes.
And once you do that, it will catch out the things that you are kind of bullshitting yourself about.
Yeah.
Because if you are saying like, I don't have time to exercise, or if you switch it and say it's not my priority to exercise, then if that
Mm.
doesn't sit right, then you need to make that time. And I
Mm.
think that is one of the ones that like I'm a bit of a softie. I don't do a lot of like tough love, but time is one that I do a bit of tough love with, because
Mm.
we so often expect like gold standard well-being, gold standard style, when actually we're living in like bronze conditions.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the best things that we can do is actually understand our lives, understand that we're going to have gold, silver, bronze weeks, and then adapt accordingly, because that
Definitely.
gets you out of that all or nothing. So it's a bit like you could do that with your style. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm wearing a hoodie and leggings, but I'm gonna like put on some nice jewelry,
Mm.
give myself a spray of perfume, accessorize a little bit.
Mm.
And suddenly it's that compromise, and it can be
Yeah.
that bronze level. You don't have to look fantastic every day, but it's that
Yeah, definitely.
intention.
Yeah, and I think the more that we understand ourselves, the easier that all becomes anyway. Like, I think
Mm.
when you really understand what works for you and what you love, and like, I quite often during the week, I'm not like dressed up to the nines, I'm in
Yeah.
jeans, but I will have a certain level of intention with color, with jewelry, with my accessories, with my shoes, whatever it is, because it's not that I'm doing that for anybody else. It's because that's just what makes me feel good. Because for
Yeah.
me, being polished and put together, even if I'm wearing something quite casual, that's part of my self-care.
Yeah.
And I think we underestimate the power of that, because when we, like you said, if we're leaning into like wearing gym clothes every day because that's just a last minute decision, it's very different to wearing gym clothes because we've got the intention that that's what we want to wear, because that's what makes us feel good, because we want to be comfortable, or whatever it is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I would love to, you touched on like Vinted and sustainability, which I'm obviously very passionate
Mm,
about. And I know you said before, like you generally don't buy anything new now, or very
mm,
little.
mm.
And I think for someone who has a personal brand and is quite visible, that is like a real statement as well.
Yeah.
What shifted for you, and what do you say to women like who want to shop more intentionally, but they might think it's overwhelming, or they don't have
Mm.
time, or all of the things that we've just spoken about?
Yeah, so I think I got into a cycle of, it was never intentional shopping. So it would always be like, oh, I just hate my wardrobe. Oh, I want a
Mm,
dopamine fix. I'd head into town, end up in like Zara, pick some things, and then they would like sit at the bottom of my wardrobe. They weren't things that I really loved. They
mm,
just, I was always on a tight budget. And so I would always be looking for things that were inexpensive. I would never be
mm.
buying expensive things. And I think then I can't remember how I got onto Vinted, but it's very clever the way that it learns what you
It is
like
very
as
clever.
such. So the fact that it was suggesting things to me, and I would be like, I love that. Oh my God, that's less than a t-shirt in Zara. Like I was like, this is wild. And I just kept thinking about more and more. I think I kept thinking about, there were lots of people that I knew were buying from like Shein and Temu and places like
Mm,
that. And I just really, like you were saying, it's not just about the labor, it's about the woman behind that labor.
mm,
And running a women's health and well-being membership, that is something that I am really passionate about. Like it's not
mm.
just about looking after like just people who are just like you. It's
Yeah.
like actually looking out for like standards that are held in terms of other countries and things like that. And so the
Mm.
more that I learned about that, the more shocked I was. But then I started to understand that it's not just Shein and Temu. It's
No.
it's most of these brands. And
Yeah.
actually, like there were brands that I really loved that I felt were better in terms of ethically. But
Mm.
because they were that bit more expensive. Again, like I think this is a huge barrier for women is money, right? Is
Yeah.
that they feel that they can't afford to be stylish.
Mm.
And actually what I discovered was like, like I was saying, like on that last weekend, I have things that other people will enjoy
Mm.
and they like I've just outgrown in terms of like my style has evolved.
Mm.
So selling them and then being able to like revamp my wardrobe, like
Yeah.
I'm not even spending anything. I'm
No,
literally like
it's amazing.
recycling things. So they're going on to have another home
Yeah.
and I'm getting to enjoy things that people, again, you can just see that it's like their style has probably changed. I love
Mm.
those things. And I'm finding things that I would never find in the shops. And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing is like when you go into a shop, it's been intentionally put together by somebody else for
Mm.
what people in that city like, what they've done their research about a demographic and things like that. And
Mm.
actually, I don't even find things in the shops that
No.
really suit me. And so I'm not getting the best thing as in like intentionally going like, okay, I want this. And, you can go around 5 different shops. It stresses you out. And in
Yeah.
all honesty, like I know that I should be past this, but I hate changing rooms. I find them really,
Yeah.
really triggering.
Oh, they are really triggering.
Really triggering. And so actually, like I think people can be put off by the fact that when you buy something from Vinted, it might not look right or things like
Mm.
that. But I think getting to know what you like, getting to know your sizing, your measurements and things like that. Like I've
Mm.
actually very rarely had things that I've had to be like, okay, that's no good. And when they have been no good, I've just put it back on Vinted
Yeah.
and sold it again. So
I think
I love
it's
it.
like everything in life, the level of intention you approach things with is what you get in return. And I think that's what we
Yeah.
have to remember with Vinted is, it's having an intention of what you need and what you're going on there for. But also, like, I am very fussy with, like, I won't buy something if I don't know the brand, if somebody doesn't reply and tell me like certain measurements that I've asked for.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to risk getting it and then it's, completely wrong. So I think again, having that intention of, I'll send that person a message about the measurements. And then if they don't reply, then that's not for me right now. And just being super intentional. It doesn't matter if you're shopping new or if you're shopping secondhand. I think that should always be the case.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I have really loved is in the winter, particularly, I love like cashmere. I think it just feels so good against your skin, and being able to get things like that, if you bought a cashmere jumper in the shops, you're talking like £100 plus.
Yeah.
And this winter, I just got a few like real classic, like just crew neck, different colors and stuff. And it's just such a great buzz to be like, okay, right, I'm getting these like pieces that are just those like staple pieces as well. And again, you might know like certain brands and certain cuts of things, and then you can search them and stuff. So no, I think it's been a real game changer for me, actually.
Yeah, it's so funny that you just said that, because my jumper that I'm wearing today was a brand new with tags cashmere.
Oh yeah, lush, yeah.
And I think it was like, I want to say it was like £25 or £30 maybe.
That would definitely be like 100 in M&S new.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. You can make those swaps to better quality pieces, as you were saying, like where you might have previously bought a jumper in Zara.
Yeah.
You can now make that swap and you're actually getting something that's going to last longer and wash better and look better and hang better and all those. There's so many positives to it.
There's such a big thing about like the kind of fabric that you're wearing against your skin, I think. Like when I want to be like soft and comfortable, like there are certain things that I want to wear, like, I think it makes a big difference to the way that you feel throughout your day.
And I think it's huge for women in midlife because, you might be having hot sweats or just generally like your temperature's more erratic.
Totally.
So the more natural fibers that we can look for, the more that benefits us in terms of how comfortable and then ultimately how confident you feel. And I've still got polyester in my wardrobe because it's stuff that I've had for a while, or it's just things that you can't get in, more natural fibers. But I'm intentionally choosing now, if I'm buying new stuff in, then I'm always trying to go for cotton or linen or cashmere or wool or whatever it is, because, well, it's like better quality and it's just going to last better. But also, as you said, it just makes you feel more comfortable, and it makes you feel, it has like, I've said this before about investment pieces, it has like a psychological impact on how you feel as well. It's like, this is really good quality and I'm kind of like treating myself, and then that makes you feel really good about yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're saying I'm worth it.
Yeah, exactly. I think something else that we spoke about before is that often women will wait. So they'll wait until they've lost weight, or they'll wait until it's the right time to exercise or the right time to work on their style. And there's a lot of similarities in that sense, I think, between what you and I do. And in waiting, life gets smaller and, you're not looking after yourself. Where do you see that the most in the women who find you and come to work?
Oh my God. I see this so much. And it's the thing that really does break my heart, because for a couple of reasons, you're waiting for something that's never going to come. It's a bit like we were just talking about being an entrepreneur. If you keep just waiting for the settled waters or things to be easier, you can be waiting for a really long time, right? And it's the same with health. Like, at what point is the universe going to stop, give you this little cocoon and go, here you go, here's your little safe bubble. And one of the biggest things that I see, and I say to women right from the offset, is I say, just so you know, now that you've started, life is going to be a little bitch. Like, it's going to throw you curveballs left, right, and center. That's kind of what happens. It's like you go, okay, I'm here, I'm ready to level up. And life goes, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, let's see how that goes, And so actually, like, in that waiting, The problem is that you're waiting for something, that you're waiting for these perfect conditions. So when you start and you don't get them, that throws you further off track. But the second thing is that then little bit by little bit, the thing that we don't realize is that accumulation that goes on beneath the surface. So it's the promises that you don't keep to yourself. It's the occasions that you avoid. It's those moments that you are continuously telling yourself this message that you're rubbish, you can't do it, all of those things. And that has a really detrimental effect on women. And this is that midlife collision that you see where it's like life is throwing things at you, you're dealing with hormones, all of those things. And if you don't do something to get up against that, do something to reclaim yourself, then that's where it's just slowly slipping into the distance. And so that's why I really just want to call BS on this fact that, you don't need to do things in a way that have to be pretty or perfect. It's about that messy action.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's about like really understanding as well, like every given day looks different, right? So it's like adapting with that. So I think that's why I love the Core 4 framework so much, because what I'm saying to women is it doesn't need to be a workout every day. It doesn't need to be a nutritious meal every day. It could be listening to a podcast. It could be doing 10 minutes of breath work. It could be anything. And I think that that's the thing, is that every single time you press play on your well-being, you are giving yourself a vote of confidence for the woman that you want to become. So it's just, I know how hard it is because I've been there myself. I know how hard it is to drag yourself to that start line, but that's why it's always my mission to make it not scary. Because you don't need the overhaul, because your body actually will reject it.
Yeah,
But that's the thing, is that
definitely.
when you overhaul your life and your lifestyle and everything and do it all at once, it's too much. It's just too much. Yeah, I really understand it, but at the same time, it's understanding the detrimental effects of not taking action.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I love that about the way that you show up as well. I'm redoing the Ignite challenge at the
Oh,
moment.
yeah.
And the one that I did this morning, you were saying exactly that. You were like, I've had, a bit of a rough time. I've not been very well. And the workout, I did the like power flow workout with like lighter weights and stuff. And I think just the fact that you're there, like showing that and proving that you're still showing up for yourself, but you've adapted like the workout to what you needed on that particular day.
Yeah.
Is such a great example to us as members, like that you can adapt and you can pick the workout that suits whatever your mood is or your hormones or what's happening in your life at that particular time. And you don't have to stick to like a rigid workout plan. You can flex it around what works for you on that particular day.
We've got so much resistance in our lives. And I think the more that you make health and well-being feel like trudging in mud, then the more miserable it becomes. But if you flip it on its head and you really change that mindset to be like, okay, so I'm showing up today, but I feel like this. So actually I'm going to get really like savvy about what I'm doing. Because the thing is that every single time you come out of an experience, and if you haven't enjoyed it, then you are getting that kind of like neural pathway wiring to your brain to think, we don't like this.
Yeah.
But if you can do it in a way that you are steadily making slow incremental changes and you are showing up, and maybe that is 10 minutes, maybe that is 30 minutes, but you are not beasting yourself, that is when your body goes, okay, this is actually safe. And this is where I can adapt. Because again, so many women find their bodies have changed enormously. And so what they are doing is they are pushing harder and pushing harder.
Yeah.
And their bodies are just literally pulling on the brakes, because it's like, what the hell are you doing to me? I'm dealing with hormonal fluctuations. I'm dealing with like, kids and this and that. It's like, it's too much. It's too much. So yeah, I think it's so important to take it slow and match your mood and match your energy.
And it's the same with style as well. I think it's really interesting to me when I start working with clients, because they'll often say to me, just the process of like my onboarding, like questionnaire and stuff that they go through when they start working with me, that will change how they're thinking about things on a day-to-day basis. So they haven't even started the practical work with me yet.
Yeah.
But just being asked those questions about how they want to show up and what they want their style to look like, who they are, and all of those things that we just don't give
Yes.
ourselves the time or the grace to
Yeah, I bet loads
do
of them
that.
have never thought about that. And again, it's like
No.
it's probably been influenced by outside influences. And so
Yeah.
actually it's just really nice when you can go, well, what about me? What do I
Yeah.
want? Because again,
Yeah.
it's like it's a period of your life where you quite often it's all about everybody else. And
Yeah.
so like actually having a moment to think about what you want is it's empowering.
Yeah, definitely. And then when you get to the end of the process and then you've got all of these like outfit formulas and it's all ready made for you to
Mm.
go, like there's something so freeing in that it's like, oh, I don't actually have to stand in front of my wardrobe every morning and think, shit, what am I going to wear today? I've got it all like laid out
Yeah.
for me. And I don't actually, it takes away so much of that mental load. And I think the more that we can do that for women, the more that they can show up in their power. And that's what I'm so passionate about, because
Mm.
there is so much, and like I get overwhelmed with like, what should I be doing for perimenopause
Yeah.
symptoms, and like this person says this and this person says that, and like you can listen to so many different things. And I think that the easier you can make it for somebody to understand, and the kind of mental load reduction is
Mhm.
huge. That's such a massive thing, and that's
Well,
what I
when you get
appreciate
to this
from
point where
you.
you've built your own playbook, you've built your own toolkit, you've got blinkers on in the best possible way. And I
Yeah.
think that that is a real gift, like you say, when you're at a time where there's so much information out there.
Mm,
And it's not to say that it's wrong information,
no.
but is it helpful? Like that's the question. And so
Mm,
actually, I think understanding like what your needs are, what works for your life,
mm,
and being able to go, okay, that's cool, but that's not for me. Like
yeah.
that's really powerful.
Yeah, that's so empowering. So what is next for the She Collective? Like what are you working on, or what's your next part of your vision?
Yeah, it's a big time, to be honest, because it's really exciting, because I think that you can hold on to something really tightly and go, but this is how it's always been. And
Yeah.
actually you can hold yourself back. And so I'm having a real like drawing a line in the sand moment and understanding that we've evolved into something different. So
Mm.
that was why I felt a bit like, oh my God, I don't actually know how to answer this question at the beginning about what the She Collective is, just because it's new to me, because it's always been just a membership.
Mm.
But now I understand that actually women need different things at different times. And
Yeah.
so, the app is going to exist. It's being more affordable than ever before, but that is like a resource library. And that
Mm.
is just like something in women's back pockets where they can just nip it out and, get going and stuff. And I'm going to be like constantly adding to that, but that is becoming a really accessible way to be part of the She Collective. And then
Mm.
Rise, which is our 8-week method, is now like it's an external, it's coaching and education, so it's a progressive weight training. But I just found that I'm so passionate about that stuff around specifically this time in life, 35 to 55, what goes on in
Mm.
women's bodies, how to work with them, not against them. And I love coaching. I didn't,
Yeah.
I kind of became a mindset coach and then didn't actually do any, I tried to fit
Yeah.
it all into the app, and it was
Yeah.
very like high, low touch point, kind of high level stuff. And
Mm.
doing that deeper work has made me so, so happy. And it means that now we've got like this ecosystem where we're going to have the education side, and then
Mm.
we're going to have like the resource side. And I'm hoping that that is going to it's going to be a new formula that can really take us on to doing that bigger work, which is I just want to
Mm.
get in rooms. I really do. I want to
Yeah.
get on stages, get in rooms, and really spread my passion for this stuff. I think that's the thing. But yeah, we evolve, right? And I think
Absolutely.
it's hard sometimes to go through that evolution, but
It is.
I think we're becoming something really exciting. One day I want to write a book, but
Yeah, you definitely should. I mean,
one step at a time.
your story is incredible. And I think, yeah, the more that you can get your work out there, I just think more and more women need to hear it and need to experience it. And yeah, I'm fully
I think
behind
what I
it.
love is making things work for actual real lives. I think
Yeah.
I've like getting savvy little ways of getting your way
Yeah.
around things. I think that's it. It's like you were saying, it's like the mental load is so heavy as a woman. So the
Mm.
more that we can release that with style, with health, with well-being, all those things, like the better, because we need the headspace.
Yeah, 100%. So for anybody that's listening who recognizes herself in this conversation and she's been maybe putting herself last, recognizing like changes in her body, she doesn't know where to start, what would be your advice?
Yeah, I think so, you know, don't go at it alone. I think it's really miserable feeling like you are the only one. When you can see yourself in others, it's such a kind of empowering experience again, because you just feel like you're not alone, like you are doing this, you kind of got that hand to pull you back up when you're feeling lonely, or just feel that self-assurance. And I would say that having structure is like really key in terms of just that beginning bit. Like if you're standing at the bottom of a mountain and you're looking up, it's really daunting. If you've got somebody kind of 2 steps ahead of you giving you that hand and going, it's just this way, just these 2 steps, just 2 more, then it just makes such a difference. So I would say that really, like, particularly, you know, within that midlife period, understanding like what's going on for you, that awareness piece, first of all, is really important. That's why, you know, we have Shift, which is like, you know, a really low ticket one week course that people can do as an audio course, because I think we all think it needs to start on the mat. And actually, I think sometimes it starts with that awareness piece. It starts in your ears. It starts understanding actually what's going on and then taking action. So I would say that just, you know, don't go for the overhaul, get support, have a plan to follow just to start, you know, then you might be able to, like, you know, find your own way and stuff. But I think it really does make such a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think having people kind of cheerleading and in your corner makes such a big difference, especially on the days where you're struggling or things are not working out exactly how you wanted them to.
Yeah, totally.
And I just wanted to finish with our like quick fire wardrobe questions. So what's the one item of clothing in your wardrobe that you love the most and why?
Oh, do you know what? This is really boring, but it is my All Saints leather jacket.
Oh,
because
I love that though.
I just like, I love the feel of it. And it was really sentimental. I had done a launch. It went really well. And it was like my first bit of business success. It was a few years ago. And I went and bought it. And it's like got gold zips and stuff. And it's just, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I love that sentimental attachment as well. I think it makes our clothing mean so much
Totally.
more.
Yeah. It was a proud moment.
I love that. And if we opened your wardrobe right now, what would we find way too much of?
I don't know whether it's way too, I was going to say pink.
Oh, that doesn't surprise
pink
me.
And leopard print.
I thought you would say leopard print.
Way too much leopard print. I think it's probably that one. Hot pink and leopard print.
We're like soul sisters in that respect.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
I have actually said to my husband about my yoga mat, I'm like, I really need to get the leopard yoga mat that Ro has, because it just
well, I've got a discount code for you, so you need to get it.
Have you? I'll send it to me.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. It's really good. It's actually such a great mat as well. Like, quite often these things look pretty, but they're not very good practically.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing. Does it all. And finally, what is an outfit or a trend that you look back and think, I really regret that, and why?
Kappa, popper.
Oh, the popper trousers.
Popper trousers. I think, like, I went through a stage where I would have those, like, the 2 bits slicked down across my base of the hair.
Nice.
And, you know, and the short tops and then the Kappa trousers. It was not the one. It wasn't the look.
I remember that phase very well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Where is the best place for people to find you? I will obviously share it in the show notes as well.
Yeah, no worries. So it's probably Instagram, the She Collective _UK, or theshecollective.co.uk.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to A Styled Life. If today's episode resonated, the best way to support the show is to share it with another trailblazer or leave a quick review. And if you're ready to align your style with your next level of impact, head to the show notes to book your free style strategy call, because when your style aligns with your purpose, the world takes notice.